Hello. Welcome back to another tech video. In this video, we are back on our PCs and ready to continue our publisher series. Now, if you're new here and haven't followed this Facebook page or subscribed to our YouTube channel, don't forget to tap the follow button on Facebook and or the subscribe button on our YouTube channel to see more MCPL content. We bring you interesting tech videos every Wednesday and Friday at 1. If you couldn't join us for the first 4 videos in this series, please check out our Microsoft products playlist on our MCPL Mo YouTube channel. Events 5 through 8 will be a continuation of the skills we started in videos 1 through 4. For this video, we're going to create the next installment of our monthly family newsletter. So most of this video will be review so we can get caught back up. It's been a while since we've used Publisher. In video 6, we're going to plan out our project's layout, so we'll be piecing together what all needs to be said and seen, including images and graphics. In video 7, we'll keep working using tools from the ribbon, consider our style choices, and then start wrapping up. And then in part 8, we'll look at arranging images and text to make it look professional and polished. So yes, we have a roadmap, but as you know, things change. So we'll keep that in mind as we go through the video. So to keep up with the progression of our project and the skills demonstrated in each, tune in with me for each part. I'd love to see any projects you create with Publisher after watching and following along. So let's talk about Publisher. The version of Publisher that I am using is Microsoft Publisher for Office 365. Knowing which version you have not only helps with troubleshooting and support info, but what capabilities and features you may or may not have based on your version. So keep in mind, what I have in my version may or may not be what you see on your screen. So that said, don't feel discouraged if you can't find something that I show you today. We can work together in the comments to help you out. So to open Publisher, you can double click on the shortcut icon from your desktop or click the start icon from your taskbar to open your start menu. Since we're using a Windows 10 device, our Publisher tile is already pinned to the start menu because that's where I put it. But if you don't see it here, you can scroll through your app list by clicking the letter P for Publisher and then choosing Publisher from the list. So the first window you may see will be the template chooser. So this template chooser shows thumbnails of the templates that you can use to create a new document. All publications begin with a template, even if it's blank. So the trick is to find a template that looks like the vision you have for your final publication. So as we learned last time, sometimes you'll start with a template and then completely scrap it because sometimes that's what it means to be an artist or eccentric or both. But Publisher also comes with built-in templates. Use them if you'd like, but we're going in blank. So let's get started. So Publisher is a great app for creating visually rich and professional looking publications without investing lots of money and time in complicated desktop publishing applications. The ribbon that runs across the top of the Publisher window holds all of the tools to help you create those publications. The ribbon is divided into tabs, and these tabs contain different groups of commands. You can access those commands by clicking on the buttons, boxes, and menus in each group. By default, Publisher opens to the Home tab with the groups Clipboard, Font, Paragraph, Styles, Objects, Arrange, and Editing visible. Remember, you'll also see temporary contextual menus that will appear in the ribbon when you select specific items like objects, illustrations, and items from the Insert tab, like borders, calendars, and other page parts. That contextual menu will include options that directly relate to the type of object that you've selected. So you can clear any contextual menu by clicking off the object. To switch tabs, you'll click on another tab in the ribbon. You'll only see that tabs, buttons, groups, and commands. So now that we have a basic idea of how this container works, we can conclude our half-baked review. So let's figure a few things out. We've been volunteered by family to create the monthly newsletter that goes out every few months that gives highlights, updates, information, and important dates out to the family. We must figure out the best way to organize this information so that it's legible and looks good with all of the pictures and images everybody wants us to include. So we're hoping to keep this at about 2 pages. And since there will be a document that will update and distribute a few times a year. We'll want to create a template. A template saves us a lot of time down the road. So let's do that so we can check it off the list. So we're going to go to File, Save As, Browse, and then to create your own template from the Save As dialog that appears, you're going to navigate to the location and folder that you want, choose Publisher Template in the Save Type box. So what we're going to do is choose Publisher Template, and then we're going to give it a name. Now, since we want this template to appear in the template chooser when we launch Publisher, we want to save it where Windows is suggesting it, this Custom Office Template System folder. So using your own template is a great way to reuse layouts, images, titles, logos, and the like without having to create all of that from scratch. So we're going to name this template Semi-Yearly Family Newsletter. Make sure it says Save as Type as Publisher Template, and then click Save. So now we can get into it. Considering a layout, we'd be okay with reusing again in a few months. Going off the amount of information that I know that I need to include based on emails that family have sent, where I want to start is in Page Design. And looking at our ribbon, we can either change the template and search for newsletters that we want to modify that may be a good layout for us. But I'm not even going to lie, like none of these are cute. So if we go back home and then go to newsletters, they'd be fine if we were back in the 90s probably, where this was like mind-blowing stuff, but these aren't cute. So what we're going to do is more my speed. In the layout section of Page Design, here, we're going to set our guides. I want to choose a grid that kind of gives the best layout for the information that I have. So let's try Uneven Grid 3. There we go. So from here, I can move on for setting my color scheme in the Schemes section of Page Design, where I can choose any of these default palettes so that the colors are consistent. Now, since a newsletter going out in a few weeks, we can choose a scheme that corresponds to the season or fits some of the highlights that we're including in the newsletter. So since we're making an announcement to the family about a new member, we can choose a color scheme that's bright and exciting. If we change our mind later, which we probably will do, then we can do that. So we're going to check out the schemes. I'm going to click the More drop down to look at all of these different palettes. So let's start with citrus for now. And if you remember, when you change your schemes, it'll change the palette of the text font colors that you'll have available to you, the shape colors that you'll have available, so that way things are consistent. Now, since I'm setting this up as a template, I want to insert some page parts that will make formatting the publication easy. So all I have to do is swap out pictures and text next time. So in our Insert tab, we know that we'll need a second page reserved for reminders and dates and the details for certain items that each family member has agreed to bring to our next gathering. So let's add another page. So Insert, Page, and we're going to have different guides on this page, so I'll insert a different blank page rather than a duplicate. So the guides I have on page 1 will look different than the guides that I'll set in page 2. So let's go to Page Design and Guides, and since this will be about reminders and such, let's choose Uneven Grid 2. So you'll see I have my guides and I can drag them and position them where I need them. to set up the page. So now let's add our page parts. Page parts in the building blocks section are pre-formatted pieces of content such as headings, pull quotes, sidebars, and stories that allow you to edit what you need while maintaining some sort of organization. So here we have some page parts. And then at the bottom, we have the more page parts option. So what I can do is click this to see the full library of page parts. So at the top, I'll have headings, where I can go to the all headings folder, pull quotes, I can go to the all pull quotes, reply forms if you need to include a form with something, sidebars, stories, and table of contents. So what I can do here is let's pick a story. So let's go to all stories. Let's pick a story page part so I can show you what they look like up close. So let's try this one. And you'll see on the right hand side there's a preview, but let's make this one nice and big. Okay, so this page part is like a template for our template. The photos are already formatted and have a heading text box here and then a text box for the body. This makes it super easy to build my template quickly and consistently. So if I like this page part but not the layout, I can ungroup this section. So let me zoom back out. Since they're all pieced together, by going to one of the contextual menus in the ribbon, I can choose ungroup. And that way I have the individual pieces to work with, and then I can switch around the layout if I'd like, or just find another page part. So let me remove this one. Let's go back to page 1 and start adding in page parts and setting our layout. Once we add all these page parts, we'll format them collectively in a moment. Let's choose a sidebar. I can resend it. And then I want to choose a heading title menus. I can choose that. There you go. So it's right here. And another page part. Let's do this one. Let's stick that here. And one last one, we'll position it down. All right. So what we'll do now is that since text is the most important object in this document, we want to decide what font and size we need and what color looks best with the background that we'll add later. So last thing I want is for like Grandma Irene to be upset she can't read the updates about her great grandkids. Trust me. So right now our story page parts are using the color scheme we chose earlier and the default font that's set in the home tab. So click on it for you. Which seems to be Calibri these days. It used to be Times New Roman. But if we want to change them without doing so part by part, let's go back to page design. And if I want to change it from this citrus scheme, all I have to do is just click another scheme. So if I like burgundy, it'll change everything all at once. Now, as for the font, there's a few things that we need to do first. To the right of the schemes is the font option that has a built-in create new and font scheme options here. This section is different from your font choice in the home tab in that a font scheme is a defined set of fonts associated with a publication. So in each font scheme, both primary and secondary fonts are specified. So it'll be the primary fonts will be used for titles and headings. So everywhere you see title, that's considered a heading. And then the secondary font is used for the body text. Now, since we want the font to be the same throughout, we must change it here to mass apply the font because you can't select all of the text. So for instance, Control A will select all of the page parts, but not all of the text. So if you go to the Home tab and try to change it, it's grayed out. So our text is grouped with the images. So our best bet is to use the built-in font scheme options that we have here. But you have to do something first so that way it'll actually work. So before choosing your font scheme, you're going to select font scheme options. And then make sure that override applied text formatting is checked. This tells Publisher that when we create a text box or insert another page part, we want it to match what's already here and not apply the default Publisher font from the Home tab. So let's choose a font. That's Veranda. Here's calligraphy. Not crazy about that. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's kind of hard to see. So you can see each part changes when I choose a font option. Let's try Verve. I don't hate it. Perpetua. Built-in classic. Let's see what's Impact. Monogram. Gilsan Century School Book. Trebuchet. Okay, I'm okay with 2 Century for now. Or maybe Civic. Let's see. We'll see how we feel about that. All right. So this seems like a good spot to send you off to recoup. Next time, we'll do the same steps that we did here for the second page and then actually add in our text. So I'll see you in part 6. Have a good day. And we want to thank you for watching. Follow us to find more videos just like this. Our page on Facebook is MCPL360, and if you miss us on Facebook, you'll still find these same videos on our YouTube channel at MCPL Mo. Find our consumer technology playlist. Have a good day.